Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy E2 Blue coming back at you again, and tomorrow's game day. Dallas Cowboys take on the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Stirring up my little tea right here, because as you guys know, I was battling the cold this week, and I'm almost out of the woods with it now. So I'm just trying to take this last little bit of Theraflu tea, and hopefully we'll be good to go by game day tomorrow, because I lost my voice and everything. All right, well, let's get to business, y'all. So, like I said, Dallas Cowboys playing the Colts tomorrow, and this Colts team right here is interesting. And I mentioned a little bit about them throughout this week, and they definitely have. Uh, Andrew Luck is playing like the Andrew Luck that was drafted, and when he first came out, all the struggles that he had before, he was basically doing everything by himself. He didn't have an offensive line. He didn't have a good running back core. I mean, he basically was doing it all himself. And I don't care how good of a quarterback you are, you need players around you. And like when people said that crazy stuff about Dak Prescott, basically saying that he can, why does he have to have all these people around? You obviously don't know anything about football when you say crazy stuff out your mouth like that, because every quarterback needs an offensive line to block for him. Every quarterback needs a receiver to throw the ball to, and every quarterback needs a running back to take the pressure off of him. So it's called a complete team. Football is the ultimate team sport. And if you don't know this, then that's a shame on you at this point. But I look at it like this. This is a team that you cannot go in this game thinking that you're just going to just run them over. Because let me tell you something. Andrew Luck can throw that ball. That's what he does. He throws that ball. And I look at it like, I mean, he's not as good as Drew Brees, but I tell you, he's a slinger. And if you ain't ready, your secondary is going to get burnt. So let's get into some stats. So Dallas Cowboys right now are 20th in offense. The Indianapolis Colts are 9th. Now, total offense, a lot of that is Andrew Luck. Cowboys are 4th on defense. We know those hot boys are getting it in. They're sacking the quarterback. They're getting turnovers. They're getting the fumbles. And they're doing what they need to do. And I'm loving what I'm seeing with our defense right now. And at the end of the day, y'all, we have to continue that this week because Andrew Luck is no joke. He's going to get that ball downfield, period. Um, their defense is 10th in the league right now. I haven't really paid attention to the Colts because we only play them as much as we see the Olympics, pretty much. We don't get to play them that often, so it's not much familiar. You know what I'm trying to say. They don't know each other that well. Um, Outside of the fact that they have our old linebackers coach as their defensive coordinator now. Matt Eberflus knows our defense very well, so that can be an advantage for them. So we'll see what happens in the game, though. I definitely have a lot of respect for Matt Eberflus. I know that our coaches didn't want him to leave, but sometimes when your contract is up, things happen. You get. I mean, it was a promotion for him. You go from a linebackers coach to a defensive coordinator. Like, if you got to go somewhere else to do that, it is what it is. You know what I mean? So there's really no love lost, but except for this week because we got to beat these Colts. Dallas Cowboys right now 25th in passing. Definitely an improvement from 29th. And a lot as Amari Cooper. Um, with no surprise, the Colts are 7th in passing. And as I go through Luck's season stats, you'll see why. Cowboys are 6th in rushing. And of course, they don't really have a dynamic linebacker core. I mean, a running back core, and they're 20. They're sitting at 24th right now, overall. Because, like I said, they throw the ball 68% of the time in every game, And normally, when you have your quarterback throwing that much, he's going to throw a lot of interceptions and he's going to lose the game. But for the Colts, um, their offensive line, they have a very young offensive line, but these guys are working like a cohesive unit right now, and they're blocking like hell for Andrew Luck. And defenses are getting to him. But again, they ain't played the hot boys yet. So, you got the commentators out here and all the NFL analysts basically all saying that the Indianapolis Colts is going to come out with this win. People are not trusting the Cowboys yet. So it is what it is. That's just what they think. And, everybody's entitled to their opinion. So Dak Prescott for the season, 68% completion rating, 3,133 yards, 17 touchdowns, and 3 of those from last game because he was at 14 previous, and that was 7 interceptions. So Dak Prescott is known for keeping his interception level low. Total low. There's a little higher this year because we're throwing more balls deep downfield. Now I look at it like this: I want my quarter. I'll sacrifice a few interceptions for my quarterback throwing the ball downfield because it opens up the offensive plays. It opens it up, and the defense has to back off. They can't put 7-8 men in the box when you're throwing the ball deep because they got to back up because they're going to get burnt every time if they keep doing that. So hopefully these teams are respecting Cooper for what he is, and that gives way for Ezekiel Elliott and the other guys to get those underneath plays. Andrew Luck is 67% completion, 3,759 yards. Actually, he doesn't. It's funny because his yardage is not far from Dak's, but he has 34 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. He's already thrown for 34 touchdowns. I mean, you look at that. That's all aerial attack. That's all him, T.Y. Hilton, and I'm going to talk about Eric Ebron, too. That was a great pickup. If you guys remember Eric Ebron, he was the tight end that was drafted to the Lions. He became the player for the Colts that he never was with the Lions, that the Lions wanted him to be. And I know the ownership with the Lions are looking at it like, God, Ebron's over there with the Colts, and he's basically doing what we wanted him to do. It happens like that. I tell you guys, scheme fits matter. Scheme fits matter. A player can do terrible on one team and then go to another team and dominate because it more favors his play style. Just like with defenses, you got, two main ones. You got the 3-4 and the 4-3. Some guys are better at in the 4-3 scheme. Some guys flourish in the 3-4. It really depends on who you are, how you play, and what position you're moving from. So Ezekiel Elliott has 268 attempts, 1,262 yards, and 6 touchdowns. That's rushing. And Zeke also has 3 touchdowns passing with 105 yards of receiving yards. So with the emergence of Cooper, it has definitely helped Zeke get open. It's definitely able for the Cowboys to do get some wrinkles in there and basically get some guys moving in space. The way our offense is run right now, the way that we should be running it right now, you have a lot of these players that are shifty. You have a lot of these players that are fast. You have a lot of these players that have the understanding of how to evade pressure and stiff arm a guy. But we're not running these plays as if we're a team that's mobile, because we're a very mobile team. You have a mobile quarterback. You have one of the best, and I would argue the best running back in the league on your team. And you have complement guys that can come in and do some of these things that you're not utilizing for. You can't see a guy's progression if you're not playing him. If he doesn't get the opportunity, then you really don't have anything. Their running back, Mack, he has 131 attempts. He has 616 yards, and he has 5 touchdowns. I don't really know much about this guy, but I never really been paying attention to the Colts like that. Because like I said, they're a team that we play once every 4 years. And I guess excluding preseason, of course. T.Y. Hilton, their main man. 62 receptions, 986 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Now, I was talking about Eric Ebron. Eric Ebron, tight end. He has been, ever since he got with the Colts, he just feet down running. He has 58 receptions, 654 yards, and 12 touchdowns. He has been a red zone threat for these guys. And before they moved Byron Jones back to his spot, we've had a lot of trouble containing tight ends before. We've been a little better at doing it before. We've been able to contain the Saints tight ends. We were even able to contain Zach Ertz in the Eagles game. Because in my opinion, Zach Ertz is one of the best, if not the best tight end in this league right now. I'll give him and Travis Kelce, the Chiefs tight end, I'll give them guys the benefit of the doubt as 1-2 punch as far as best in the league right now. If you're shutting down teams like number one tight ends like that, like every team doesn't have a great tight end. You look at the Cowboys, we don't. But I look at before Jeff Swaim got injured, he was definitely on a roll and looking like he was getting much better and doing the things that we want our tight ends to do. But again, you have to watch out for Eric Ebron. Now, there's a big, solid guy. He's like a Rico Gathers type of guy, but a much better Rico Gathers, obviously. Amari Cooper has 67 attempts, 303 yards, and 62 receptions, 922 yards, and 7 touchdowns. He's only been on this team now. This is his 7th week on this team. And he already has that much production. Wow. That 7th touchdown was from the Raiders, but we're not going to speak on that because that one doesn't even matter. In my opinion, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. I look at Cole Beasley and him in the slot and running those underneath routes, and I feel like we have opportunities, and I've seen games where he's been open. Got to get him the ball. You can make him that third and short completion guy. We've been much better on third downs. My issue is our red zone, and I'll get into that in a minute. Interesting fact, and I mentioned this with Andrew Luck throwing the ball all over the place. The Colts are throwing the ball on 63.5% of the time. And, like I said, normally you don't want your quarterback throwing that much because you're going to throw a lot of interceptions because you're forcing the ball downfield and things of that nature. But if you turn on the tape and you look at the tape of Andrew Luck, you got to respect what the guy's doing. I mean, he's definitely slinging that ball around. He's getting to these open guys and he's making them look like future Hall of Famers. And, ever since his injury, he's come back strong as ever. And, you just got to respect that, but you also have to learn how to beat it. And this defense has to definitely show up and show out, just like they did with the Saints. They have to come with that same energy from that Saints game if they want to win this division. If the Cowboys win this game and the Eagles lose, we already know that the Eagles are most likely going to lose because Carson Wentz is not playing, and they're playing the Rams right now. So more than likely the Rams are going to go ahead and handle their business. I'll be rooting for the Rams this week to beat the Eagles because that definitely helps us too. So all we got to do is do our part. We got to win this division and get rolling, y'all. Injury report. So Zach Martin is not playing. I feel like, with our offensive line, we at one point in time, and we know the injuries are inevitable. They happen. With Zach Martin not playing, he's going to miss his first game ever as a pro. And it sucks because he's playing against a team in his hometown. And I know that he wanted to play this game so bad. It means everything to him to go back to his home city and play against the team that is in his hometown. And it's just, you want to do that. You want to go and show your family, hey, root for me. It really sucks. But Connor Williams is definitely going to take a spot right there. I really hope that Connor Williams can hold up this game, because it's going to be certain factors that we cannot do in this game, because if we do, we are going to lose. And I think a lot of Vegas odds and stuff for because we're looked at as the underdogs in this game, which when you look at what the Cowboys have done in the last 5 games, you sit there and scratch your head, because you're just like, well, how can they be an underdog? But you look at what the Colts have been doing. They, like I said, the Cowboys and the Colts right now are very similar as far as um, how they play win loss wise. Like, you can never really count the either one of these teams out, because as soon as you do, they'll beat you. David Irving is still out. I really don't understand what's going on with his injury. Taco Charlton has been he came back, but he was a healthy scratch last week, and I feel like Dorrance Armstrong and Reed has basically taken his position and Jay taken his job, because these guys, the problem, well, it's a good problem to have for the Cowboys, but for David Irvin, I mean, for Taco Charlton, it's not good, because these guys are playing so well. After your injury, you're the odd man out right now. So I don't know what's going to happen with Taco Charlton and his future with the Dallas Cowboys. It really sucks, because he was a first round pick, but he was a raw guy, and the Cowboys knew he was raw. But at the time, they were desperate to get bodies on the field, which, and they always say you can't get to a point where you are hanging your hat on somebody that is not naturally the ingredient that needs that. I gotta say this. Um, Basically, just the fact that he was a raw guy. He wasn't a guy that was spoon fed for that position, and a guy that naturally had the ability to do that. He has to work at it, and you would think that by now he would have got it. But he's been making he made plays here and there, but when these guys get injured, and it sucks, because as soon as you get injured, that other person steps in, the team start thinking, hey, this guy is putting up just as much production as the starter. So what do we need to pay the starter for? So teams start thinking like that. So you ever playing and you get a younger guy coming in there and outdoing you, that's never a good thing, because teams look at that and they're like, we could do something with this. Um, we already know Jeff Swain's still out. He can't play again until they get those screws out his wrist. That might not be till at least playoff time. Lance Lenore, he was on the injury report only because he had an illness. He was sick, so um, I'm pretty sure he'll be playing, depending on what they want to do, switch players around, things of that nature. Because Tavon Austin should be coming back, so they're definitely gonna play him if he plays this week. And I would love to see some jet sweeps starting off. Get this guy in open space and just let him run. He is so fast. Um, but again, this is what we have to do. We have to be smarter. We have to play smarter, and we have to make sure that we are putting these players in a position to win. Period. And that starts with the coaching. That starts with the play caller. Um, because Dak knows what he has to do. He knows his job, but you got to call it right. Especially if you want your quarterback to listen to everything you're saying. You don't want him to tune you out. You don't want him to go turn his radio off in his ear where he can't hear you talking and be like, you know what, forget it. I'm going to go out here and do me. Can't do that. You cannot do that. Um, Now the Indianapolis Colts, they have 3 guys that are out: Mark Lewinsky, Mike Mitchell, and their rookie Sky Moore. So as we get into how to beat these Colts, let's talk about the keys of the game. Number one, and this is one of the most important ones right now, and I mentioned it just a second ago. Connor Williams has to come in here, and in place of Zach Martin, he has to not become a turnstile. He has to stand his ground. He has to block these guys and um, keep your quarterback safe. So I think that too many times before, because Dak got sacked so much lately, let's say 48 to be exact. He's leading the league in getting sacked. But we got to do better at that. We cannot win games if our offensive line is not holding up and blocking for Dak Prescott, period. Because you're going to get in a situation like how we were in that last game. But, shout out to Dak for being clutch and coming back. But that could have easily went the other way, especially if you would have got another turnover. There's no recovering from that. So, for that one, Connor Williams has to bring his A game on that line. I mentioned that Dak got sacked 48 times. Now, you cannot get your guy crushed like that. And I know some of them is actually on Dak and not the offensive lineman because the way that he moves around. But as far as him moving the pocket, only thing I want to see Dak do is move forward. Step forward in the pocket. If you don't see any open receivers, run that damn ball to first down. If it's 3rd and 6, go and get them 6 yards and get back to the huddle and figure it all out again, because I'm telling you, that is important. All hands on deck. I would say, another important one. Contain Luck's aerial attack. Now, I just said that he throws the ball at 63% of the time. He's out there on offense. It doesn't leave a lot of room for a running back or gadget players or things of that nature. They're going to play you straight up. They're going to beat you. They're going to try to beat you with Andrew Luck, and the Cowboys have to contain Andrew Luck. Their offensive line is young and stout, and they are protecting this guy. So you got to go out there, Hot Boys and D-Law. You got to go out there and you got to penetrate them walls. Penetrate the walls. Number 3, keep Cooper hot. You see what he did the last game, the 3 touchdowns. When you see him open, give him the damn rock and let him do what he does, because he will. Number 4, run Zeke. Run Zeke. Run Zeke. Whenever you can get the receiver the ball downfield, take advantage of those soft spots up front with running the ball, because they're not going to be able to stop you. Period. Oh, and time of possession. Time of possession is huge. You get Zeke running that ball, you get that clock churning, you getting those yardage every other play. Yes. Yes. That's what we live for. You gotta live in the world of time of possession. You gotta hold on to that thing. You gotta give Andrew Luck at least amount of time to throw that ball, at least amount of time with the ball in his hand. You have to make sure that your defense stays hungry and stay tight, because if the defense is not on their A game, that means we're going to be losing, because that means that he's going to have enough time to eat a bologna sandwich in the pocket and then throw this ball to T.Y. Hilton for a touchdown. So we don't know if T.Y. Hilton is going to play yet. They're going to make him a game time decision, which I completely understand that, because you got to heal at some point. And a lot of these guys, these veterans and stuff like that, that's not, they just don't play them all week, because they look at it like this. He knows what he's supposed to do. He knows his assignments, and he get out there and just do it. Last but not least, limit turnovers and limit penalties. You look at these past couple of games, and I know that the refs are not in agreement and they're not like trying to do things for the Cowboys, but they have called some plays in our favor. So I'm not completely ungrateful about it. I will say that I will take what I can get. They're not going to do you no favors, so you have to make sure that you're not getting penalty calls on you. I know that Connor Williams is probably going to get some of them, because it's going to be growing pains right there at that right guard spot. So you got to do what you got to do. Limit turnovers. Dak's got to hold on to the ball, period. Fumbling that ball twice like he did in that game to me was absurd. You cannot do that. And I understand the situations change, somebody knocks it out your hand, you're running, you're in a pile. I get it. I get all that. I'm not saying that you can't uh, think about it, but you cannot let it consume you. And one thing about Dak Prescott I love is he doesn't let that stuff consume him. If a bad play happens, he's gonna come back and he's gonna basically say, "I got this. I'm gonna put this on my shoulders. And I'm gonna win this damn game." And that's what he did. 18 comebacks in his career. He has a higher winning percentage in his first 3 years of the league than Tom Brady did. So you look at uh, these guys, and I know that Tom Brady was a 6th round pick, but you look at these analysts, they are comparing Dak to first rounders because they always put him in the category with Wentz. They always put him in the category with the rest of these young quarterbacks that are in kind of similar situations. You look at Dak's journey; he was not supposed to be a starter. That's why his paychecks are. That's why his money is not long right now. But them endorsements is long. And shout out to him for doing what he needed to do to survive. Because at the end of the day, that's what you got to do. I love the fact that Dak has the leadership qualities naturally. Like he's come in here and he's basically said, "Hey, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this," and he listens to feedback. Amari Cooper already said that sometimes when in a huddle, if he sees something that Dak doesn't see, he'll bring it to his attention. And he's like, "Hey, we can exploit this. If this works, we'll be good." And I think that's all I have for the keys of the game. Pretty much cut and dry, keep it simple. I know a lot of you guys will probably see this video in the morning, but I wanted to do it because we have an early 1 o'clock game, and we're going to be at Lucky's with Mark and the gang in Springfield, Virginia. Um, so excited about my little helmets. See, got the Colts, get the Cowboys, psh, double header. But yeah, so you win this game, guys, you clinch the division. We know that the Eagles are going to go ahead and drop that goose egg. We know that the Redskins are most likely done as well. Unfortunate for the quarterback situation, but unfortunately in this league, I may feel sorry for you, but unfortunately in this league, they don't feel sorry for you. Because guess what? Nobody feels sorry about the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody wants to see the Cowboys succeed. And when we do, it's always a reason why. There's no like cut and dry. They don't look at it like, oh, the Cowboys can most likely oh, they're a decent team, but our defense gets all of the credit, but they don't give anything to Dak because they look at him and they're like, oh, you threw those. I mean, you got those turnovers in the game, and it doesn't matter. That's what you did, and that's fine because at the end of the day, no matter the situation, you got to do you, and you have to keep striving. That's all I'll say. So, with that being said, y'all, hope you guys have enjoyed. I guess Friday and Saturday of your weekend. Tomorrow, let's go ahead and get this Cowboys. Oh yeah, I forgot. Um, Game scores. So I think that with Andrew throwing the ball, he's definitely going to score. So I look at it like this. I'm going to say 27-24 Dallas Cowboys win the game and clinch that division. Let's go do it. How about them Cowboys, y'all? So with that being said, y'all, thanks again to all my subscribers. I appreciate you guys a bunch. Those of you that also follow Mark, I know you're going to be watching this live stream. We'll be there. I'll be there. Um, Holla at me. You see me on camera, say what's up. I'm always, you know, gonna shout you. So, with that being said, Josh, your boy E2 Blue, always keeping it real. Let's go get them, Cowboys.